The Plastic Challenge is about bringing consumers, businesses together to find new solutions and new ideas that will help with the reduction and elimination of single-use plastics from the supply chain.
The problem of plastic pollution is one of those wicked challenges which is just so big. It's been very difficult for one company or one brand to deal with on its own.
My name is Pallavi. I'm interested in this project because I'm really passionate about the environment. I always think about how I can help to change the way we are using plastic. I'm still using, but I'm more aware of it. Okay, so I'm using plastic in gardening, I'm using plastic in my kitchen more. Wherever I go, I just use plastic.
We have first invited people to come to us. So what we do with ethnographic research is really collecting stories from people. And in those stories, we really focus on what people actually do and why they do those things. We give them a digital diary, so it's an app on their phone, which they use to capture all kinds of experiences they have.
So they gave me this app to actually record how much plastic I'm wasting or how much plastic there is in my day-to-day life. So I'm going to just take a picture and record it in the app to send it to the group. From my understanding, there is 7 different kind of recyclable plastic, but it goes up to 50. So therefore, it makes my task even more difficult to know, okay, can I recycle this or not? And if I can't understand it, it's very difficult for me to explain it to my kids to actually do the right thing.
My name's Amber, and I'm interested in this project because I wanted to see what the impact that my generation can have. With bathroom stuff, the cotton buds, for example, to keep the lid on, they wrap it in plastic as well. Say you're buying a hairbrush and it's in one of them really hard, tough plastic things that you need to get the scissors out to cut. As with food, obviously it gives you the option to buy it loose. We do make a conscious effort to cut it out where we can, just because it is now at the forefront of our minds.
So that's something we've seen from others as well, isn't it? That they start to notice much more plastic around them than otherwise.
Yes.
We monitor online, as the stories come in, what kind of things they record. So we have captured more than 500 of those experiences of people across that time. Then when they come back, we ask them to talk us through why did they do things like that.
So a lot of interesting things have come out. The confusion around plastic symbols and recycling. Questioning the necessity of excess plastic used in packaging, the visibility of the problem, and the kind of an awareness of opportunities to act.
Corporates often talk to their customers, but from a product perspective, they never really talk about it from an end of life and what we're looking at perspective. So it will be really interesting to see what the interaction happens. I think there'll be a lot of insight.
Welcome everyone. So I'm Stephen Jamieson from SAP, and I guess today's my fault. So there's a little story behind this, which I won't spoil right now and tell you a bit later on. This came from a conversation with my 6-year-old at bedtime one evening. She challenged me to do something. She was struggling with the problem, and she asked me to see if I could create a solution.
On a design sprint, we follow a really rigorous process, and it starts with really good research. So we've got consumer citizen research and there's consumers on hand, but very importantly, we're following a design process.
Can Team Uno give us one kind of observation that you made about Guy, right?
So what's going on now is that everybody in the room is hearing the research that's been going on with UK citizen consumers. Directly after that, some of those citizen consumers are coming into the room.
Hi, I'm Pallavi.
Hi there, lovely to meet you. Thank you for coming.
Same here.
Hi Stephen, I'm Guy. How are you?
Hey Guy, nice to meet you. Thank you.
Hi there. What's changed is the fact that I wanted to know what's available in the supermarkets. It's been ages that I haven't been. It was a great discussion to actually find out what my struggles are. So for me, they had a better kind of insight.
I'm from normal public, so I don't have any ownership. So talking to those people who have got the ownership, so I'm feeling like I have given input to those people who can take the decision.
It was enlightening. I mean, just having the opportunity to calibrate some of the perceptions that we'd gotten from the reading material that we'd had as a background on I think as a direct consequence of the conversation with Pallavi, the ideas just exploded out. So we need to narrow down a bit.
The groups have been in confusion and flux, and now they've come together and there's a consolidation of ideas, and they're beginning to sketch through them and think through what how the user would respond to it. So it's a real progression.
Our idea is about creating a new app that will allow consumers to get information about how they can recycle their plastic waste, and also give them a voice to feedback to brands and retailers.
The idea is about a system whereby every packaging item on the market is being scanned and has information on what it's being used for, what materials it contains, how it can be processed and recycled.
They've seen what we have issued by way of rally cry here, and they've responded, and everyone's come here with the right spirit, which is really inspiring. I've genuinely in the workplace not seen a thing like this come together before.
Hey, how are you? Yeah, good, how are you? And you?
This is about empowering citizens to actually understand how to reduce their plastic footprint using an app. So where to shop, where to recycle, putting the power into their hands to actually connect with brands.
The thing we're looking at the moment is subscription. You subscribe to water.
So the idea that I was being pitched was about having a subscription to get bottled water where you could actually refill the existing bottle you had or recycle it and get a new one if that one was up.
The idea was to give me information about what was in my shopping basket and then to reward me as I was a better selector of packaging than on previous visits.
I like that. That's really good. I think the idea is progressing really well. I think what's interesting is the artwork just makes it a bit more realistic. And that's one of the challenges we've seen through the process is, that actually getting it down on paper is really hard.
All of the teams now have really great ideas. They've got a little bit more work to do, refine their ideas a bit further, and then they've got to pitch them to a jury.
We're giving ideas to people about how they could change their plastic footprint going forward and actually reduce it. So this information is all about taking the customer through that journey of education and rewarding them for changing.
The amount of data that is going to be collected is a huge opportunity for the retailer, which importantly really addresses the issue.
We think the lovely thing with this thing is it lends itself very, very easily to doing a proof of concept. So we need to find a friendly retailer, we need to get in, we need to test this, understand customer feedback, understand retailer feedback.
Well, I've heard some really interesting ideas here today. I think all of them could provide means to the kind of goals we're setting out with our Plastics Pact. We're setting some really stretching targets to try and get more packaging recyclable, reusable, try to get more recycled content into it. I think all these things we've heard about could enable consumers to move towards those kinds of goals.
I was part of one of the design sprint teams and we came up with a concept called Reward for Change. It's a concept rather than a brand, but the idea is it would be a piece of software which we can embed into existing loyalty card applications, and it would give users an immediate traffic light feedback on how recyclable their shopping is, and they would get bonus reward points for picking items that are recyclable or with no packaging.
So John, you want to just talk us through this prototype as it stands now?
Yeah, sure. So this is the current prototype, and it's built on the concept that we designed during the design sprint. So I'll just give you a look at how it works now. So maybe we go to search at the bottom here, and we get all of our grocery shopping, and let's say maybe dairy and some milk. So at this point, maybe we go and have a look at the big screen so you can see the detail a little bit clearer. So here you'll see we're on our milk page, and if I click on that amber icon here, you will see the details about the packaging that's used on that item and the actual particular plastics, and also information about whether it will be recyclable in your area. But the real key here is we want to not just reward customers but educate them. So we have this button here which is Shop Alternative. And what the system will do is bring up an alternative which has less of a plastic impact. So in this example, we've got a glass bottle for your milk instead of plastic. On top of that, the red items where they are picking products which have non-recyclable packaging, the user can actually send feedback to the retailer about why they've picked that item.
So what we have right now is what we call clickable prototypes. So the next step is to turn it into functional prototypes, where we take some of the powerful technologies we have here at SAP around machine learning, big data and cloud, to turn these things into solutions that retailers can then go and run with themselves.
We're going to take all these wonderful ideas and all this energy and this community of people and organisations that have come together, and we're going to make these great ideas a reality.